The first time I played Kingdom Come Deliverance, I played for hours. I'll always remember the first sunrise I saw. It was so good. I had a plan to wake up early in the game and walk to the village I wanted to see. It was a journey. It was so immersive, I was hooked. I often saw Kingdom Come Deliverance on sale for cheap. I knew I loved medieval games and RPGs, but for some reason, I never bought it. I missed out because I enjoyed it. What made me love this game was the stealth. It was so satisfying knocking somebody out, having the choice to kill them or not, and taking their things. I love the fashion in this game, whether it's to dress to look good, be a knight in shiny armor, or roleplay as Robin Hood. It was fun. You get to see your outfit in the cutscenes. If you get hurt, your clothing will get ripped, and your armor will have dents. The story starts you off as Henry, the son of a blacksmith. You help your father forge a sword. The village gets attacked, set on fire, and you go on an epic quest for vengeance. The story is nothing new in gaming, but the presentation is good. There's a very 90s movies feel to the cutscenes, and I love that. At the start of the game, you're weak and have low armor. You'll get easily defeated. Don't let this discourage you from playing. When you're strong enough, you can fight reckless and beat your enemies even without armor. Give the game some time. Combat isn't fun in the beginning. The game does have some bugs, from NPCs walking locked in place to clipping and sharing the same spot.
Lost something?
I wasn't too bothered with most of the bugs. They actually made the game more funny most of the time. I noticed a lot of returning faces early on in the game, but do not let this deter you from playing it. This is Warhorse Studios' first game, and I think they did an amazing job. It makes Kingdom Come Deliverance feel like these are actors lining up for a scene. I had the graphics settings to the highest and motion blur off. The game doesn't have a lot of crashes and doesn't have performance issues on my setup. I had the HD texture pack on. You can get that for free if you choose to download it from the store pages. I have over 300 hours in, and I had about 3 or 4 crashes in all my total hours. The game doesn't have many slowdowns. The only time I've noticed was right before an autosave was going to happen. The game looks good for the most part, but up close some of the nature environments are flat and poor textured. I wasn't too bothered by it, but it could be a turnoff to many. The world of Kingdom Come Deliverance looks good. There are 8 villages and 3 towns. I only enjoyed 1 village and 2 towns. The bigger places are established and have things to do. Half of the villages don't have anything to do, and some are just passing through villages. What makes them unique is very little. The map of Kingdom Come Deliverance is very well designed. The more you explore, the more it reveals. In normal mode, there's fast travel. In hardcore mode, there is no fast traveling. Reading this map can help you navigate, and it does a good job. The game is smaller than it looks, and it's easy to learn the whole map. It takes less than 10 minutes to travel from Rattay to Skalitz, and these are the starting areas in the game. The world of Kingdom Come Deliverance is alive and breathing. People do their daily work. The domestic animals do their thing and look natural enough. This is the skill hunting against wild animals in the forest. From a far distance, the animals act natural enough. Sometimes when you're up close to wild animals, they start to become chill and trip out. This is a strong bow that requires a lot of strength. Even as slow as I am now, the deer is still in close distance and it is immersion breaking. It gives you a lot of time and chances to shoot the wild animal though. The deers are hard to kill with a bow. Most of the time you just have to hope that they get caught by the environment. It's immersion breaking, but the chances of killing a deer is hard, much as it would be in real life. Here I am killing a deer with a sword. At least we can get some meat. This is the pickpocketing skill. You can use this skill on the sleeping or when you sneak behind people. You can enter this pause mode where however many seconds you get, you're able to use that time and select what to steal from the NPC's inventory. I never bothered with the skill, and I'm glad that we can progress without leveling up certain skills in the game. Some skills are not fun at all. I like to use stealth and choke someone out, then steal from them. It's a lot easier, but the looting is in real time. I like that the game offers us both options. Some skills don't need to be used at all to beat this game. You could just buy the items or services you need to help you. This is the Alchemy skill. You can make your own potions, which can enhance Henry with extra abilities. You can make poisons for your weapon. You can make saving potions. It takes time making it, and the in-game world can pass by fast depending on how much you make. The nice thing about this skill is you don't have to be 100% perfect on doing the directions. If it did, I wouldn't even have bothered. For the most part, you can play this game without any potions. This is the lockpicking skill. It allows you to unlock doors or chests. It is useful and you should work on this skill. There are some rare items that can only be obtained through lockpicking. On PC, the controls are easy. On consoles, lockpicking is hard because the controls are different. For combat, when your strength is low, it doesn't matter if you're wearing the best armor. You'll be easily defeated. If you run out of stamina, you're most likely going to die because the enemies don't have lungs. If they see red, they're going to combo. When your strength is high, you can easily defeat your enemies. The combat is sticky. Watch me land a strike. The enemy gets pulled into my lock-on and I'm forced to engage. Look how far this travel distance is when the enemy gets pulled in. The combat training says we can feint and switch directions to attack. It doesn't matter how calculated or methodical you want to approach combat. The choice of direction to swing your weapon doesn't matter. It's all luck whether you land or not. Enemies can deflect really good. They can even deflect from behind when they're facing someone else. It's not so much player skill based, it's stat based on how strong Henry is, if an attack gets through or not. Landing a hit is mostly by chance or catching your enemy off guard. Switching opponents during a lock-on is slow and poorly targeted. It's better to break free from the lock-on and refocus on the closest enemy. The majority of the encounters in the game, you're mostly outnumbered. It doesn't matter if all your enemies don't have good gear. When you run out of stamina, you run out of action and will most likely die. When you're facing a heavily armored group of enemies, your chances of winning are extremely low. Every enemy is against you first. In this quest, I hunt down a knight, and a group of bandits jump in, but they all aim for me. The bandits don't go after the knight at all. I thought this was originally a part of the game, but that was a random encounter. The game's combat needed more work. I can handle hard games. I don't like giving up, and there are times I almost died in combat but still carried through. All the one-handed weapons use the same fighting style. It doesn't matter if they're using a short sword, a hunting sword, saber, an axe, or a hammer. Every one-handed weapon is used the same. Even the enemies fight in the same exact style, when they come from a different region and have a different culture. There's only so much directions you can swing a weapon, but to not have a different stance or something to make it unique made the combat lackluster. Kingdom Come Deliverance was missing horizontal strikes. That slash could have been so nice to have in this game, for attacking and creating distance because we're mostly outnumbered in fights. I think the main reason they didn't have it is because we'll probably get countered in a row. I learned how to Masterstrike correctly, to the point where if I don't want to strike first, I could just counter all incoming attacks. It's not very engaging if I just wait for my opponent to strike. In all my time playing this game, I managed to do only 2 combos. I don't even remember how they looked like when they landed. This is the game's best longsword combo. I meet all the requirements in strength and have a longsword. It's way too hard to land a combo. I have tried the easiest combos on weak enemies and they will die before the combo is complete. I have tried the hardest combos on strong enemies with good health and they will always counter. There's no reason to try a combo in a group fight. I have tried different combos but didn't save because it takes skill points. So I have all these weapon skill points stacked never to be used because there's no point in investing. I've tried to record a combo on this enemy for 5 minutes. At the end of it, the enemy died a normal death. The save system is not as bad as people complain about. All the towns have an inn, and most of the villages have an inn to sleep in. It doesn't cost much to save. If you talk to the innkeeper, it only costs 2 groschen for the night. If you want a permanent resting spot whenever you visit the village, it's only 200 groschen. You can even haggle to lower the price.
Can we discuss the price?
You like it here? Like sleeping on a cloud.
It comes with a bed and your trunk. Your main trunk that has access to all your belongings, and you can sleep at any time you want. NPCs have preset spawn locations. Sometimes you load in and NPCs are still at their spawn point and they're all clipping into each other. I think this is the main reason why there's not a quick save option, because NPCs have to load in and interact into the world. It's not a continuous world. A lot of people are going to feel like Kingdom Come Deliverance is big, but the game is small and manageable once you understand its concept. The travelers on the road will appear at the same spot during different times of the day. It doesn't matter if it's morning, noon, or night. That's their spawn point. You can also use these as landmarkers, even though they're NPCs, for when you're traveling in hardcore mode, because the same person will always appear at the same spot. The game starts off strong. Some quests aren't enjoyable at all. There's a lot of investigating in this game, and it doesn't seem like anyone is capable except for Henry. There's a quest I went off to do my own work. I came back and got yelled at by the captain. That was the only time in the game that made me feel like my actions matter. It doesn't matter what you do to accomplish the quests, good or bad, as long as it's complete, the story continues in one direction. There aren't big consequences. The game doesn't give you a different storyline because of your choices. Everything you do in the game conveniently leads you to the person Henry is looking for. I know deep inside Henry's in search for things, but there isn't a quest where Henry takes time and focuses to look for what he wants. There is no tracking. There's only, I'm working for so-and-so, and wow, the bad guy happens to be here too. All the people Henry is looking for are conveniently handed to him in fate. Everything just happens to fit for Henry. Henry always has luck on his side in the story. Some missions are a hurdle to get through because it's not fun. There were times I didn't want to play the game because those missions were in the way. After I completed it, I realized it wasn't that bad, but it wasn't fun either. From the Ashes is a DLC that gives you a task to rebuild a village. Out of all the DLCs, I enjoy this one the most because it gives you something to do. But honestly, the majority of the DLCs feel like filler. Rebuilding the village is going to the book and picking what you want to build, run to the master locator's location, waiting a few days for a building. Once the building is done, rinse and repeat. It didn't feel rewarding, it felt tedious. Getting to this village is not fun, and it's in the middle of the woods. After it's built, I still don't travel here for fun. I did it just to complete it. I would have loved player housing in Kingdom Come Deliverance. Something like in Skyrim where we can display our favorite armor and weapons. The Amorous Adventures of Bold Sir Hans Capon. I didn't like this DLC and it wasn't fun, but it does give insight on Sir Hans' personality. Band of Bastards was not fun for me. There are unique items. I didn't enjoy this DLC. Talk to the captain. We fast travel, investigate or do combat, meet back at the camp, rinse and repeat until the end of the quest line. It was not fun. It felt tedious, and it has a similar formula to From the Ashes. A Woman's Lot. You're either going to love this DLC or not. Once you start it, you are locked in and played as a female survivor. For me, it didn't add too much. I was a savage playing as a survivor, so it wasn't as traumatizing as the game was trying to set it out to be. A Woman's Lot has the most display of emotions the game has to give, in my opinion. I would recommend to play it early. I wasn't too impressed with the DLCs, however some of the best unique items can be obtained through them. For example, the best bow, the best armor, and unique horses. I would have still gotten the Royal Edition with all the DLCs, just because the price with everything is not bad when the game is on sale. There's not much to do endgame. Once you got your horse of choice, favorite looking armor and weapon, that's pretty much it. There's no house for Henry to decorate, and the majority of the quests get cancelled out before the final missions. Kingdom Come Deliverance for the PlayStation Regular Edition is $4.50 on sale. Here the Royal Edition is on sale for $4, a dollar cheaper than the DLC bundle, which is $5. And here the regular game is not on sale. Just be patient and wait for the Royal Edition to go on sale. The prices on sale are the same for the Xbox versions. Here you see the Royal Edition is $4 plus, and the regular edition is $4.50 plus. So just buy the Royal Edition because it comes with all the DLCs. The Royal Edition on PC usually costs $8 when the game is on sale. Since the announcement of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, the game has been going on sale for 90% off, so you can get the game for about $4 on GOG and Steam. I give Kingdom Come Deliverance a 7 out of 10. The pros are, I liked it enough to do 2 different styles of playthrough, cutscenes and music were good, and equipment looks good. For mixed feelings, the game looks good, but it has some poor texture. The game uses real faces of some people, but there's NPC cloning. The game is immersive until you find the Immersion Break. The cons are, for everything I liked, there was a flaw or exploit. Combat needed more work, some missions aren't fun, the story was very safely done, and the game loses its magic once you figure out how it all works. After this clip is extra input on Kingdom Come Deliverance for people who have completed the game. I hope you found this video informative. This is the end of the review. Alright, peace. Warning. Spoilers ahead. If you don't want to ruin the game for yourself, do not watch this next segment because these are the cracks after the honeymoon stage. This combat exploit I discovered on my own. I haven't heard anyone else mention it. What you have to do is run up a pile of logs. If you're too slow, the enemy can grab you or strike you. As long as you stay at a safe range, you'll be okay. Crouch in order to go into stealth mode. After a while, the enemies will disengage and leave. Once the enemies turn around, they become vulnerable and they have no alertness. This allows you a huge opportunity to kill them or knock them out if you're playing on a no-kill playthrough. This works on anyone who's not in an essential fight. This combat exploit uses archery. Get on top of a pile of logs or find a higher ground that the enemy can't get up to. Use archery to pick your enemies apart. This combat exploit involves running away as fast as you can from battle. The best way to do this is by horse. Realistically, people can't outrun a horse and would have to give up on a horse chase. But to completely disengage without any awareness or not being alert is not realistic. It took 26 seconds for the enemies to completely disengage from combat. Now all I have to do is loot what I want from the event, then pick the enemies apart. Here I am choking them out one by one. They don't have any awareness to even check for me. They don't talk like friends, walking side by side. If you don't succeed at choking, you could just call your horse, which would spawn nearby and run again. Personally, it didn't bother me too much because the reality is if the waiting time was longer, I would have still waited until they let their guard down so I could choke them out. I discovered this immersion break after I completed a quest. I was going to close the game after I caused some chaos, and all the guards that rushed me shared the same face. After that day, Kingdom Come Deliverance never felt the same for me again. It can feel immersion breaking. This is the most repeated face and they are used mostly for guards. He needs a spot in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 as a unique after all the services he has provided. This is my final warning. Do not proceed if you still want to enjoy this game. This is why the game was ruined for me. This was the game's biggest sin. If you know, you know. That's it for this video. Alright, peace.
You're dead.